By now, all of us are painfully familiar with the terrible murder about a week ago by Elliot Rodger, in which he killed 6 people, 13 people were injured in the shooting spree and stabbing spree near the University of California, Santa Barbara. And of course, this raises all the old questions, gun control, etc., but this has nothing to do with that. What it does have to do with is the idea and the concept that he released a YouTube manifesto just a day before the shooting spree and spoke about his twisted world. And this twisted world sounded much about his inability to distinguish reality from fantasy. This is all true. But these crimes, of course, were influenced, in my opinion, by media, influenced by his inability to be the hero, to have a successful social life, and he sees it constantly in the media. And there are critics that have accused Hollywood, for instance, of planting ideas in a madman's head. And the question comes back over and over again: is Hollywood responsible? Is what we see does it have a major effect on people like this? I can only tell you one thing. When I grew up, my mother, of blessed memory, was so careful with me that in the 1960s, we were not permitted to watch any violent programs. I was not permitted to watch any cowboy shows or shows of violence. I had to pretend when I went to school that I was watching Gunsmoke or Rawhide or Wagon Train. And when the other kids spoke about it, I pretended that I did too. And I was upset about it. But she told me, "You'll grow up better this way." I didn't understand it at the time. She had me watching game shows and situation comedies, and that was it, and a little bit of sports. But that was it. She was a visionary. She was way ahead of her time. Because whether Hollywood really causes these things, that's not for me to say. Hollywood doesn't heal. Hollywood doesn't cause murders. Movies don't cause things like that. However, don't be fooled. Believe me, the messages given over by hard rock music, by Hollywood in general, even by video games, even by TV violence, the images that it displays have an effect on you and your children. No, I'm not saying that it causes murders, but I am saying be very careful. Be careful with what your kids see. Be careful with what you see, because all the messages that we get, the way that we are bombarded with negative messages, messages that are so violent and destructive to us, they have an effect. They have an effect on our psyches. They have an effect on our souls. It may not cure mass murders in the United States of America. That's true. But being careful with what you see will make a difference in your life. Believe me, it is something to think about.